recording. All right. All right, so we are looking at interpreting rational numbers, and our objective today is to find and use absolute values and the opposite of a number to solve real-world problems. All right, so remember, the Spark Your Learning is just to kind of get your brain thinking about what the lesson is for today. So it says the magnitude of a star is a number that is a measure of its brightness as seen on Earth. The brighter the star, the lower its magnitude. The data below shows the magnitude of 5 stars in our galaxy. Between what two consecutive integers is the magnitude of each star located? In most applications, the magnitude of a number is its size or amount. However, when talking about the magnitude of a star, the magnitude includes negative numbers. All right, so what would I need to create to figure out what two integers these fall between? Anybody have any ideas? And I'm going to give you a hint. So on the side of your book, you have these things right here. So that kind of tells you what we need. Axel.
A number line?
Yes, a number line. Okay? So we're going to look at our numbers. So I don't need to go very high, right? Maybe to -2 and +2. So 0, 1, 2, -1, -2. All right, so Polaris, which is the North Star, what two integers would that fall between?
One and two.
1 and 2, yep. So it is between 1 and 2. All right, Sirius, which is a -1 and 4/500, what would it fall between? Axel? Or is your hand just up from the last time? All right, Michael, I saw your hand pop up. Where would it be between?
It would also be between, it would be between -1 and -2.
Yep, so -1 and -2. So that would be probably somewhere right here. Okay. What about, is it Hadar? Is that how you say that? Hadar? So where would that fall between?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. So let's look at it again. Do I have a 1 here? I don't, right?
No.
So where would it fall between? Michael, I see your hand.
It would fall between 0 and 1.
Yeah, between 0 and 1, and that would probably be somewhere right there. Tyler, is your microphone not working? I keep seeing your messages come through. See if I can unmute it. It'll let me. No, it's not letting me. Okay, that's weird. No, it does. Okay, so just unmute your microphone if your microphone works, sweetie. You don't have to keep typing it into Collaboration Central. Okay? All right, so Arcturus is -4 thousandths. So where would that go? So someone's besides Michael and Axel. I know that they're understanding, and Tyler, because I'm getting Tyler's messages. So someone besides them. Scarlett or Jaden or Alex, Elijah, one of you guys. So what would this fall between?
I don't know.
Okay, so look at it this way. Is there a 1 here?
It might fall between 0 and -1.
It does. It does. Not might. It does, right? If it fell between -1 and 2, it would be a 1 here. So this is like 4 pennies. 4 thousandths is 4 pennies. So it would be real close to that 0. Okay? So it's going to be between 0 and -1. All right, and then the last one, Canopius, where would that fall between? It's 7. If we think of money, it's 72 cents, and it's -72 cents. So where would that fall between, Jaden?
-1 and 0.
Yep, 0 and -1. Good. Okay. So it says how many decimals, we're looking at the turn and talk. And guys, if I go too fast, and you don't have, for writing things down, just say, Miss Lavelle, can you pause for a second? Okay? All right. So the turn and talk says how many decimals are between 0 and -1. So we're talking decimal places. Michael. Only, oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying these, right? I think they're just talking about in general. So if I was to make a number line and this was 0 and this is -1, how many lines could I put here? That's what they're asking. How many decimal places could I have? So think about that. So could I have something like this? I could even go even smaller, right? So I can add 4 zeros and a 1. Could have 3 zeros and a 1. I could have tenth, right? I could have 1,000ths. I could have 1/10,000ths. So there are an infinite amount of numbers that will fall between there. I could do 2 tenths. I could do 3 tenths. I could do 3 thousandths. I could do 3 10,000ths. So there are a lot of decimal places that will fall between there. So we're going to call that an infinite amount. An infinite amount. There are tons of decimals that will fall between there. Okay, am I good to go on?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to build that understanding. And so this section is pretty much like the last section. The only thing that we're adding now are decimals and fractions. Okay, so we talked about the number line and where that goes. All right, so the average low temperature in Nome, Alaska in January is the rational number -2 8/10. Okay, so let's look at the vocabulary. What is a rational number? A rational number is a number that can be written in the form A divided by B, where A and B are integers, but B cannot be 0. So I cannot have a denominator of 0, ever. Okay, it will give me, and if you don't believe me, put it in a calculator. Put 1 divided by 0 or 2 divided by 0, and you'll see the calculator will give you something that says undefined. Okay? All right, so A says consecutive marks on a number line increase and decrease by the same amount. What marks would you need to graph -2 8/10 on a number line? Okay, so that goes to, so if I'm going to do a number line, what would my scale be? So what would I need to do, Jaden?
You need to have -3.
Yep, so I need -3.
-2 and -1.
And -1. So I could go by ones. Would it be easier if I did maybe a scale with decimals?
Probably, because then you can mark it exactly.
Yeah, so I could. So here, it may even be smarter. We could maybe do 5/10 and then 1, right? And this would be negative. And then -1 and 5/10, -2, -2 and 5/10, and -3. We could do something like that. We could do 2/10, couldn't we? So could we do another scale? Let me draw another one here, and that wasn't a straight line. So I could do like 2/10, 4/10, 6/10, 8/10, but my number line would be extremely long, wouldn't it? It would be pretty long because we would have 1 and 2/10. So I don't always have to start with 0. I could have started with like 2 and 3. So that would have worked too. So I could have made this 2 and 2/10, 2 and 4/10, 2 and 6/10. Okay? But it's just basically this question is asking you what would that number line look like and what scale could we use. So any of these would work. Okay? All right. So then B says between what two consecutive integers is -2 and 8/10 located on the number line? Well, we kind of got an inclination, right? Because we stopped at -3. So we know that it's going to be between -3 and -2. So C says, how would you graph -2 and 8/10 on a number line? So I would plot a point at 8/10 to the left of -2. So if we come back up here and use this one, right, it would probably be somewhere right there. And so that would be to the left of -2. Emily, question?
Can you pause for a second?
Sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, good. All right, so D says complete the statement to describe the position of -2 and 8/10 compared to 0. So -2 and 8/10 is how many units to what side of 0? So now we're talking about absolute value, right? So Michael.
I would say it's 28 units to the left of 0.
Yep, so it's 2 and 8/10 units to the left of 0. So that's kind of talking about that absolute value, right? All right, so what is the opposite of -2 and 8/10? Tyler?
The opposite would be 2 and 8 units to the right of 0.
Yep, to the right of 0, absolutely. And then it just asks us for that same answer again. So the opposite of -2 and 8/10 is just 2 and 8/10. Okay. Sometimes, guys, you'll notice this book it asks you to repeat the answer a couple times. So I don't know why, but it does. All right, so now you're going to graph it. So if you look, they put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 little dashes between here. So this is 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, right? So this would be 2 8/10, this slot right there. Okay, so it would go right there.
We also have to graph it its opposite.
Yep. So then that would be over here, right? So count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's right here. And that's positive 2 8/10. Good. Thank you for catching that. All right, am I good to move on? Yes, okay, I don't hear any no's. All right, so number 2 says the leg of a display swing set are buried in the ground as shown. What marks on the number line would you need to graph 1/2? So what would my tick marks be? So if I was going to graph it, right, and this is 0, and this is 1, what do I need to put in between here? 2 what? So I'm trying to graph 1/2. So my tick mark in between here would be what?
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5, right? So I could do 1.5, or I could do 1/4, because I would have 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and then 1. But I think 1/2 is the best of that. So we're going to say half. All right. So then it says describe the position of 1/2 on the number line. So 1/2 falls between where? Let's see if we can get someone else, Michael. I know you know Tyler.
1 and 2.
Okay, look at it again. 1/2.
1 and 0 and 2.
Yeah, 0 and 1, right? Okay, awesome. Adeline, help me with the next one. So 1/2 is blank units to the what of 0?
Half is half to the right of 0.
Yep, to the right of 0. Awesome. All right, and then Alex, the opposite of 1/2 will be what?
Negative 1/2. Or no, wait. 1/2 to the right of 0.
Right, we're here talking about the opposite. So the opposite of 1/2 will be what? You were right the first time.
Yeah, negative 1/2.
Yeah, you were right the first time. And is that to the left or the right?
To the left.
Left. Thank you. All right, Kyle, I want you to do the next one. So the opposite of 1/2 is what? This helps me see if people are actually here. Kyle. Earth to Kyle. Come in, Kyle. Kyle apparently doesn't have a speaker. Okay, so Kyle said negative 1/2. Apparently his speaker's not working. All right, Scarlett, where would I graph that? So graph 1/2 and its opposite. Where would that be?
It would be in between the negative 1 and the 0.
Okay, so that would be the opposite, right? And then the actual number would be right there. Awesome. All right, so The Turn and Talk says, what marks on a number line would you need to graph -3 and 75 hundredths? So if this is -2, right, and this is -3, what marks do I need to put in between -2 and -3? What would make the most sense? Tyler.
You could do 25 hundredths.
Yep. So I could do -2 and 25 hundredths, and then -2 and 5 tenths, and -2 and 75 hundredths. So my scale would go up by 25 hundredths. Good job. All right, so I want you guys to work on 3 and 4. I'm going to give you about, shouldn't take you very long. I'll give you about 7 minutes. And then we'll come back and check it, okay?
Okay.
And guys, if you're having trouble with your video, if you have a DCPS computer and you're having trouble with your video and your volume, in other words, you can't mute, you can't talk, you need to reach out to the school so you can get a new computer, if it's a DCPS computer, okay?
Ma'am,
Uh-huh.
can I have some help with C?
Yep. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to download you guys' attendance. And then I will pull it up.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, what number?
C.
On number 3?
Yes.
Okay, so absolute value, right? So absolute value is what from 0?
Oh, so it'd be 0. Oh. Okay, I know what it is.
That's what it would be, right?
Yes.
Yep. Distance from 0, yep.
I'm confused on 3 part B.
So it says, okay, so we're talking distance from sea level. So that's the distance from 0. So what did you get up here? So this is basically the absolute value.
Negative 0.0?
And that's not the absolute value. It wouldn't be negative, right? The distance from 0. So the distance would be this. And it says between what two consecutive integers is the negative 500ths located on the number line. So remember, that's 5 cents, right? So 5 cents isn't $1. So it has to come between where?
0 and
Yep.
negative 1?
Yep. Falls between 0 and negative 1.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Uh-huh. Michael, do you have a question?
No, I just wanted to say that I'm finished.
Okay, all right, let's give everybody a few more minutes. So go on and work on that check for understanding then, okay?
Ma'am, I finished.
Okay, so move to the check for understanding.
Yes, ma'am.
I think,
also finished.
okay, so I kind of already did 3 for everybody, so 3's here, okay? You have about 1 minute.
Are we going to go over the answers after this?
Yes,
Okay.
okay? All right, is anybody still working on number 4?
Nope.
Okay, so let's move on then. All right, so number 4, quickly so we can move on. So what is the absolute value of negative 5 and 2500ths? Michael?
5 and 25.
Yep, so positive 5 and 2500ths. Okay, what is the distance or the absolute value of negative 7 and 1/10? Somebody just jump in.
7 and 10.
Yep, 7/10, right? Positive. Okay, what about negative 3 and 5,000 or 50 thousandths or 5/10?
3.5.
3.5, yep. All right, what about,
0.75.
yep, 4 and 7500ths. Awesome. All right, so now we're talking about which is greater. Is negative 7 and 7/10 or negative 3 and 5/10 greater? Is a greater withdrawal. So in other words, money that is coming out of your bank. So which one is the furthest distance from 0?
7
Yeah, so this negative 7/10 is greater because you're taking more money out. Okay? All right, so we're going to skip the check understanding because I want you guys to be able to work on your own. So if you flip to page 34, this is what you're going to work on for the remainder of class. Okay? And then I believe on Teams, didn't I say you guys had homework today? Hold on, I got to go back to it. Come on. Why is this not wanting to cooperate? There we go. Yes, so you have homework, page 35. So you have 2 options. You can do it in your book, or you can do it in Into Math, or you can do it in Seesaw. Okay? So your classwork is to finish the on your own. Okay? And then for homework tonight, you need to do page 35.
34?
35 is the homework.
Okay.
Okay?
So can we leave now or no?
No, I would stay on until, that way if you have questions, that I'm here. Okay? Because technically you're supposed to be logged in until,
Right?
I'm sorry, say it.
We have to upload the on your own, right?
Yeah, so when you're done with the on your own, take a picture of it and upload it. And if you can't do that, then bring it tomorrow and then I'll take a picture and upload it. Tyler, you have a question?
We also upload the homework.
Yes.
Okay.
Both of them should be editable PDFs. Or they should have,
Which one do we add the homework to? I'm
The-
on focus on the computer right now.
okay, and there's not one that says 2.1 homework?
Oh, never mind, I see it.
You see it? All right, so that's where the homework will go.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. It's better to double check. Yep, they're all editable.
I fed my fish and then they devoured all the food in 3 seconds. Emily. What?
Scarlett, you have a question?
What? You can make your cursor a fish? No. Yes.
Scarlett, you don't have a question?
My question is that since the emails that I do don't really work, could I just show it to you tomorrow?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Tyler, do you have a question?
The food disappeared. No, that was just from earlier.
Okay, no problem. Freaking fly.
Bye, Miss Lavelle.
Hi. Emily, you have a question?
Yes. I'm confused on number 6.
Okay, number 6. 2 deep sea divers are exploring shipwrecks in Lake Erie, one of the Great Lakes. Write the depth of the shipwreck as an integer. So it's over here, right? So negative 200 feet. So write the depth of the shipwreck as an integer, and then what is the absolute value? So it's negative 200, right? And then what is the absolute value of that?
200?
Yep. That's it. That's how you do it.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Hold on. Okay. I don't understand number 6.
That's just did number 6. So you have to use the picture.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so the depth is negative 200, and then what's the absolute value?